Art is love with the aid of everybody. Different kinds of arts took birth on our planet, and many artists kept those alive and still are. One such very famous artist is Donna Jordan. She is prominent for her free patterns quilt designs. To all of those who don't know what quilt is, it is a design type where the bed sheets are sewn between two layers of materials in a crisscross manner to create a design. A little about the person who is going to teach us quilting today. Donna started making quilts along with her husband Matt when they were young. They grew up in Pasadena, California. They now call Grants Pass in Oregon their home. They have 4 children and they all grew up in the latter place. And they are grandparents too. They have been in field for around 40 years and their studio is also located in the same place. Matt, her husband, particularly enjoys cutting the fabric. It comes to him naturally, he says. And the maths involved in it seems quite fun and he completely seems to be in love with the work he is assigned. Today we are going to see the first item on our free patterns list, which is the mosaic pattern. Here Donna explains to us to get our very first step done, which is material. These are the watercolor paints. After that, we need to cut a background for those patterns, and while cutting those, the most important one is the measurement. Now take the watercolor print and give them a random cut. Then sew the parts of the cloth together. Ensure all the watercolor prints are different, and then after sewing them together with the plain cloth we chose for the background, cut them yet again. Finger pressing is the crucial step here. Vertical and horizontal stitches are the essentials. So the idea here is 4 different designs in a single piece. Lining all of these pieces together forms a quilt. After that, sew all of them together using a matching thread color. Moving on a little about the processes involved in quilting. It has some interesting tasks like borders, backing, binding, and then comes quilting. Picking the right border cloth for the quilt design is also equally important. And then the binding has to be done with the right color thread so that it is not known that it is not binding. Although the quilt is the main component for the start. The second one on the line is the scrap strips diamond trip. Sounds interesting, right? Well, let's quickly jump into it. This is basically through the scrap that is left unused. Start by taking some charm squares, cut them, and sew 3 pieces at once, and then repeat the process for all the remaining pieces as well. After all of those are done, it's time for them to get their trimming done. Then comes the accent sewing, and which includes 2 different facing stitches on the cloth. Then we will have to lay out the quilt, and then the thread color. Also, the quilt turned out to be quite a good one with a color block diamond design, which is the highlight. The third one on the list is the quilt called mini paddles, specially made for us beginners. One for the inside border and one for the border outside. Start by taking the charm squares. This is the skill builder. For any novice, it's a great start. Then cut your background squares ready. Then stitch them accordingly. Cut off the excess cloth. Next, stitch all of them together for all the pieces. After stitching the outer border as well, now is the time to pick up the right thread for getting the quilt together. This is a tabletop or a small size quilt used in many ways. It is also equally important to choose the right color combinations for the border on the inside as well as on the outside. These are some of the fantastic designs that I found interesting, and if you find something else, do comment below. Also, quilting is quite a satisfying art. Picking the right borders and building them in the right way will give beautiful outputs. Their consistency and their love for work have always kept them reaching their peak, and they joined the community way back in 2015, and since then, there was no looking back. They have an ascending spree, and their monthly income is about $5.6K and their yearly income is about $67.6K. Their subscriber count is about 625K. All the unique business ideas have to be supported and encouraged, so let's wish they achieve more, shall we? If you like this video, then make sure you like and share and subscribe to the channel. Also hit the bell icon so that you will be notified whenever we are on YouTube.